What is going on, Soul Tribe? And welcome to my. Oh, I salute the divinity in you. And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. I'm getting it together. I hope you're feeling amazing today. You know what? If you're not, this is a great energy to start getting yourself built up this week. And if this is our first time meeting, my name is Justin. And yeah, welcome to my channel, Alchemist. And on this channel, one of the things that I do on here is that I talk about the celestial chit chat that's going on in the sky. And this week is looking pretty chill. I kind of like this. The biggest one, we're going to only got two transits that we're going to be focusing on, but I'm going to talk about a little bit of the lunar shenanigans. I'm going to do something a little different here just because the moon is going to be very active. The moon's going to be kind of ramping up as this energy is wrapping up. So I think that's going to be something very important to kind of keep an eye on there. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. I'm going to be covering the week of August 8th through the 14th, and I'm actually switching up something here. Bam! We're going to get a view of the sky here. I figured, why not? Guess we really only have one day to talk about. So on the 14th, the big one that we're going to be looking at about 8:21, Mars and Jupiter, Big Papa, are going to be forming their conjunction at 16 degrees and 40 minutes of Gemini. Now, the reason, I say pay attention this week to be kind of thinking about what you want to focus on. Mars is like our energy, our drive. Jupiter is that energy of growth and expansion. And when you think about this, Jupiter is in detriment in Gemini. That means his energy he's weaker in Gemini. And that's just because he's the opposite. As you can see here, let me go ahead and circle that for you. Look at those two all snuggled up. Yeah, Jupiter and Mars there. Okay, so Mars is the red one. And then you see his home sign here, Sagittarius, his opposite sign. He's far away from home. And with Gemini, he's having to see another side of himself when he's in Gemini. There's a duality that he hadn't considered. In Sagittarius, he knows everything. He goes out and experiences all. But yeah, in Gemini, there's something that this is a time where he's learning about the other side of himself, the side that he doesn't see. And when he's in a combination here, normally Jupiter's really strong. He's the greater benefic. When he comes in contact with Mars, it's not a big deal. But since he is in a weakened state here, Mars is going to have more flow. And so when you think about conjunctions, that's when the planets, as you see here, are kind of snuggled up together. They're in the same vicinity as one another. And it depends on the orb that you use. I like to use when I'm working with the kind of those planets, I like to use at least like a 3-degree orb. It kind of depends on what we're talking about here. But with the conjunctions, that's a fusion of energies. So there is this growth that is happening, but with Mars, you have to be mindful of, is this growth going to be for your benefit or is it going to be to your detriment? That's something where we have to really think about where we're operating, where we're wanting to go, what direction we're kind of taking our the decisions that we're kind of making in life, because everything, I feel that with Gemini, everything has a consequence. It's not even a matter of what's good or bad. You're going to learn something with Gemini. And so I feel that, we want to think about the decisions that we're making, and are we repeating any sort of patterns? The thing with the conjunctions too, they start off new cycles. This is a great opportunity if you are noticing something here to expand, to learn, okay, there's this darker side of me, there's certain aspects that, this isn't working anymore. And if you're wanting to know where this is happening in your chart, how this is working with you more personally, either look to the house that this is falling into your sign, see what the theme of that house is. Then learn, as far as like what Mars represents, what Jupiter represents, how that resonates with you, where that takes you. Or if you like, I have a link down in the description box below. You can book a free consultation with me. You can find out what areas you want to work on and what packet or what service that I provide works best for you there. So that's another option for you as well. And you get to kind of talk this out. It's always nice to kind of have another perspective there. But one thing I want to talk about this too while we're talking about cycles, the Sabian symbol for this conjunction that's happening is phase 77 of Gemini. And it talks about the head of a robust youth changes into that of a mature thinker. So you see there's already that Jupiter aspect of it. There is this idea of of evolution, of growth, being more responsible with our action, our energy, Mars. And the keynote here is the transformation of physical vitality, Mars, into power to build concepts and intellectual formulations through knowledge which can be transferred, Jupiter. And so this whole Sabian symbol here is taking that robust youthful energy that we have, summoning up that creative energy, but now utilizing it, because depending on where you're at, what cycle you're at in your life, you're not a kid anymore, or at least you're more experienced than you were even just yesterday, probably even 5 minutes ago. But now I feel this is the time, especially with Saturn being in Pisces and kind of wrapping up his time in Pisces. I do feel like that, it's interesting when I said, I think about that with Gemini consequences. I do feel that the manifestation is, I feel, picking up. And that could be, again, to your benefit or your detriment. There's power in your thoughts, there's power in your words, and the actions and decisions that you make. And I wanted to talk about here, let's talk about the moon. Let me get my lunar notes up here real quick. Because as you can see here, where'd my drawer go? Okay, so the lovely moon is halfway through the sign of Sagittarius right now, the sign that Jupiter is the lord over. So one thing with this energy, when we start the week of the 8th, the moon is going to be in Libra. The energies are building. And I feel like this can be a time where, okay, what do your Libra's that cardinal air. What idea do I want to get started? Am I wanting to improve, or what area or what way do I want to improve and get more balance into my life? Whatever that's looking like. And then you take that energy when we get to about the 10th, the moon will move into Scorpio. So now how am I feeling about this stuff? And really kind of think, does this action that I take, is this really going to lead to the change that I'm wanting, to the transformation that I'm looking for? Does this something that just does this fuel me up? Do I feel just does this make me feel power, feel powerful, and then you get into Sagittarius. And now this one I feel is an interesting day. That's going to happen on the 13th here. Because you see the energies kind of building up. I feel like as we're moving into Scorpio, you're going to start feeling a lot more when the moon gets into Scorpio. And then this release is going to need to happen. That's going to happen when I feel that when the moon gets there on the 13th in Sagittarius. Because as you can see here, right as that time, as this conjunction is happening, the moon is going to be forming an opposition, almost forming an exact opposition to this one, but it's going to be building. So I feel that you'll have an idea what you want to do, or pay attention to what's building up for you over this week. And I feel that the moon will have an idea of where to go with it once you get to that place. And then you'll be able to really kind of ground it once you get to that Capricorn energy. Things will start to, I feel like, kind of solidify there. But this is going to be, I feel, a very, very interesting time, I feel, because and keep in mind too, whatever this is that's going to be starting off, wherever you're at and wherever you've been spending your energies. Mars is, as you see here, he's getting ready to form a square with Saturn. And so if you have any ideas that you wanted to get started up, any sort of plans, you want to dream, but you have to be realistic about achieving that dream. If you wanting to be to achieve this fame, you want to become a rock star or whatever. Well, do you know how to sing? Do you know how to play? Do you have a band? Saturn's going to be asking all of these questions when we get to that square. And again, you got to see where this is happening in your chart to make more sense of how these things are coming up for you. For example, for me, this is happening in my 11th house. Jupiter and Mars are forming this conjunction in my 11th house, and Saturn's been traversing through my 8th house. And so I got some things for the future, as far as like some big ideas I'm actually getting ready to start up. And if you, depending on when you're watching this, because I'm releasing this pretty early, because later at about 3:30 p.m., that's Pacific time, I'm going to be doing a live on my other channel, The Chariot and Friends, and I'm going to be talking about this new lunar manifestation group that I'm going to be starting. It's called we're going to be kicking it in the lunar mansion. So, and it's going to be a real cool thing. So if you wanted to learn more about that, come on over to my other channel later. So there's a link down to get over to that channel. And again, that's going to be about 3:30. You can always catch the replay for that as well. I'm going to figure out how to record that. So don't you worry, and I won't either. So, but I got some ideas as far as that, but I do have to be realistic as far as just like, okay, what am I, do we have, it's, because the eighth house deals with like shared resources. It's like, okay, do I have the resources to just solely focus on this thing, or am I going to need to get something on the side to support this while this thing is building up as well? And so like, so you see where Saturn, he won't deny you if you present something. If you got a thing, it's like, okay, no, that's practical. We can work with that. You can build something from that. But otherwise, if it's just sort of like just big dreams, Saturn's going to bring some big disappointments. But he also is going to, he's in Pisces. So, maybe you have this idea, you got really excited, and then there's all these roadblocks that come up. Saturn in Pisces allows you to just move through these things, surrender. It's like, and not surrender the dream, surrender maybe how I'm going to get to it may not be how I thought it was going to be. It may be, it's an uphill thing with Saturn, but there is a goal, and Saturn Saturn rewards very well. I feel like where Jupiter will just kind of just give and give, Jupiter, there's no boundaries with what Jupiter will give. He'll just give you an abundance of literally whatever. And especially when he's feeling weak right now, it's literally whatever. Anything kind of goes with Jupiter right now. He's learning about himself. And especially when he's going retrograde, I feel like this square is going to be happening 3 times with Big Papa in Saturn. So there's going to be a lot to think about as far as like where you're going next. What does everything that you've been working on what has that been meaning up until now, and just where does that going? And it doesn't have to be this super crazy crisis, but just a moment to just kind of pause and evaluate. Okay, do I have, am I just ready for things? How am I feeling in life right now, and what steps? And this is not a time too with this energy, all this Gemini, Sagittarius, mutable energy. I feel like this is a time where it can be really easy to get really kind of stirred up, and then it's just like kind of all over the place. So I feel like you just want to take a moment and just kind of, it's not a time to panic. It's just a more so set these things up so that you can feel more grounded, so that you can feel more of a game plan. Don't let it be a burden. Let it be like, okay, I got to build shelter. I got to go grow food. I got to go do these things. So that's how I feel this can be some really, really productive ways of just kind of working through this. And again, just kind of acknowledge how you've grown, just kind of thinking back to that Sabian symbol again. And now that you're not working from, you're not building from scratch. You're building from experience. You're always building from experience. So just that's something I feel like to keep in mind. Now, let's kind of clear this up a little bit, because the last thing I want to talk about is Mercury, because I see Mercury here. And when this is happening, this big conjunction, Mercury is at, you see, 0 degrees, 17 minutes of its domicile and exaltation here of Virgo, and is going to move back into Leo at about 5:15 p.m. And so what I feel this could be is whatever comes up for this conjunction, think about where you want to channel your energy. Take your time with this Mercury retrograde, because when Mercury's in Leo, think about Leo as it's fixed fire. So think of it as like a brick oven. You know, it's you're heating up your pizza. You're heating up your stuff, but it's like it's not an aggressive heat. It's something where it's needing to. We need to turn it down a little bit. We need to give it some time. Do I want to add anything further things to it? You know, let this stuff really kind of marinate. I feel during this retrograde right now, this could be a very fruitful time, and having some sort of project I feel to kind of focus on, and things can kind of help keep yourself regulated and grounded when, you know, Matrix is doing Matrix things, because there's still going to life is still gonna life, you know, while we're working on these things. But it's just like, how are we responding to this stuff, you know? And so, and I think that's going to be very important, because we are going to enjoy this quiet too. This is the biggest aspect that's happening, but you know, the sky is going to be getting very busy again. And I think that there is going to be, you don't want to be in this place where you're just feeling split all over the place and kind of in panic mode. I'm getting then this has become like, I really love this line. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. You never have to get ready if you stay ready. I really do love that. You know, I'm a big fan of better have it. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And again, we're not just doing just like frivolous things. I feel this is very practical things, in whatever area this is happening in your life. I think that's all I got for that chart there. So, but otherwise, you know, if you're not sure where you're wanting to go, Mercury and Leo being retrograde there can help you get things organized. You know, think about what do you value? What do you think is worth your energy? Where do you think, you know, where do you think, you know, your stuff would be the most fruitful? You know, that may be something to think about with Leo. And be very generous with these ideas. That's why, excuse me, that's why I feel like it's a good thing to, if you find a focus with Gemini. And then this way, you got that focus, and then you can see all sides of one thing. You know, you can be whatever this main theme you're kind of focusing your life around while Mercury is retrograde at this time. Like I was saying, like, I'm working on this business stuff. I planned this whole thing while Mercury's retrograde. I'm just getting my stuff built up for this idea. And then it'll kickstart off in September. You know, Mercury will be fresh out of there. Excuse me. And everything will be fine. So yes, I feel that's the great way to work with this energy. Get a game plan, because I don't know if I mentioned on the 14th is a Mercury day. So again, a time to really kind of get your thoughts in order. You know, take what you're feeling and just get that stuff grounded. So yeah, that's what I got for you. Hopefully this is useful for you. Hopefully you enjoyed that. And until next time, stay mindful out there. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll do this for this channel too. Why not? You know what? I already did that. Let's see. Actually, you know, while we're talking about, I'm thinking about Mercury working back in Leo and, you know, building up resources and money and thing. Oh, you know, no, that's not the one I want to read. Hold on. I'm going to read an affirmation for you. That's what's going on here. We're going to read an affirmation for prosperity here. So, and then keep in mind just whatever, you know, God, universe, infinite spirit, angels, whatever your higher source is. God is my unfailing supply, and large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, and in perfect ways. So go out there, excuse me, collect that abundance. It's waiting for you. Always waiting for you. Keep raising that vibration. Seize the day and the night, and I will catch you hopefully in a couple hours on the Charity Friends. But if not, on the next one. Later.